I want to start today by giving you some good news. And the good news is that it won't always hurt as much as it hurts right now. It's not always going to be as painful or as excruciating as your life may feel right now. I promise you, the good news is it's not always going to hurt this bad. But I know that right now it is about everything that you think about. If you're a betrayed spouse, you're constantly reminded of the pain, the hurt, the trauma. And for me to say it won't always hurt this bad, it probably might be encouraging, but it's really hard to get there. If you're an unfaithful, you're probably incredibly alleviated that it won't always hurt this bad and it won't always be like this. However, you do have to do some recovery work. More good news is it's going to lessen. It's going to dissipate eventually. It's going to taper off and regular life will come back, and this won't be the only thing that you think about or talk about with your friends, your support group, or family members, or whoever you're talking to. There will come a day, I assure you, where you will not be continually talking about this. What I wished I had known was that early on someone would have come to me and said, listen, this pain is going to dissipate and lessen, but you're going to have to ask yourself, what do you want in its place? No one came to me and told me that. No one gave me that kind of vision. So I want to give you that vision today. I want to ask you, what will you put in place of all this hurt, all this pain, all this frustration, all this anger, all of the chaos that you're experiencing right now? What will you put in its place? Because there will come a time where all of that trauma won't be there, but there will be something in its place for sure. I meet people all the time who, instead of the trauma or the constant, barrage of emotions and feelings and what have you, now it's a lot of bitterness or a lot of anger or a lot of resentment or depression, regret, that they're kind of consumed by that instead of the anger, the bitterness, the trauma, the chaos, the what are we going to do, what are we going to do, are we going to stay married, are we going to be divorced? They're no longer stuck there, but now they're stuck in a new place. And I want to help you not to be one of those people, regardless of the outcome. I want you to be able to be someone who has a vision right now to be able to say, you know what, one day I'm not going to be consumed by all of this. I want these things to be here. And so if I'm going to make that proclamation, I've got to be able to communicate out of my situation and my story right now. And so I'll tell you, just the other day I was at a water park, and it was just me and my youngest. Now remember, my youngest was about 4 weeks old when my affair had become public. And it was just he and I and one of his buddies, and we were at this water park, and it was just a gorgeous Texas sky day. It was a bazillion degrees, but we were just having this awesome time. And I just sat there watching him play and have a great time and just be careless. And I was enamored at the moment that at that moment I had so much peace, so much gratitude, so much appreciation that 10 years ago I would watch one of my oldest play, and I was constantly consumed with worry and fear. And is this now life for me? Being a single parent, am I going to be divorced? Am I going to just be so overwhelmed with grief and regret and sorrow that I'm consumed by it and there's no joy? So here's a few things that, while I didn't have forward thinking to say, I'm going to put these things in place, I did get great help, and I did have a wonderful God who forgave me, and I did have some people that God put in my life that really helped me do some hard and heavy lifting. And so because of that heavy lifting, I have these things. I want you to have a vision where you say, you know what, one day this is going to lessen, but I'm going to have these things in place. Number one, for me, is gratitude. At that water park moment, my heart leapt with gratitude for the family I do have, the relationship I do have, the 20 years of marriage that we have, the simple joys of life that we experience. Number two is I have a deep found appreciation and gratitude for Samantha and how she gave me another chance and forgave me and reconnected with me. And seeing what we went through and where we were and all of the horror that we lived through to where we are now, it consumes me with gratitude. I also have a deeper knowledge of God's grace and forgiveness of me, which spills over into a deeper self-awareness of what a complete train wreck I can be and what a wrecking ball I can be. And so I live now with an awareness that if I'm not living in recovery, if I'm not doing what got me out of the mess that I was in, I will very easily slide back into another mess. And finally, I live in a greater state of humility because I was the complete antithesis of that 11 years ago. But I promise you, if you will do this exercise, it's going to help you with some visionary thinking and some forward thinking to know that one day you're going to get on the other side of this. And you're going to have to make a decision now of what you will put in place of all the trauma that you're warring through right now. I promise you, you will get to the other side.